whether she will serve another 24 years in Italian jail for the gruesome murder of her British flatmate. Today, 24-year-old Amanda Knox made a tearful final appeal to a jury of 6 in the Perugia courtroom where she was convicted 2 years ago. Speaking in Italian, she insisted that she didn't kill 21-year-old Meredith Kercher. Her former boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito, who's serving 25 years, told the court he had never harmed anyone in his life.
Aged just 24, Amanda Knox today made the speech of her life, a personal plea to a court not to let her spend the next 20 years in prison for a murder she says she didn't commit. This was the last day of her appeal against her conviction for killing her British housemate Meredith Kercher. Her innocence or guilt will be decided by 6 jurors and 2 judges.
Amanda Knox has been in prison for 4 years now. In that time, she has changed from a student into a young woman. The evidence against her has been tested at 2 trials in this ancient courtroom in Perugia.
Her sister and parents were there to hear her emotional plea.
Io non sono quello che loro dicono.
I'm not the person they say I am.
La perversione, la violenza.
Perversion, violence, disrespect for life and for people aren't part of who I am.
E non ho fatto le cose che loro suggeriscono che avrei fatto.
I haven't done what they have suggested I did.
Non ho ucciso, non ho violentato.
I did not kill.
Non ho rubato.
I did not rape. I did not steal. I wasn't there.
Non ero là. Non ero presente a questo crimine.
I wasn't present at this crime.
Io voglio tornare a casa.
I want to go home.
Io voglio tornare alla mia vita.
I want to go back to my life.
Io non voglio essere punita, privata.
I don't want to be punished, deprived of my life for something I didn't do.
Che non ho fatto.
I am innocent.
Perché io sono innocente.
The murder victim was Meredith Kercher, a 21-year-old language student from South London. She'd been found with her throat slashed several times in her bedroom at the house she shared with Amanda Knox. Knox and her new boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito, became suspects because of their strange behaviour after the murder and because their stories kept changing. DNA discovered by police at the crime scene on Meredith Kercher's bra clasp appeared to implicate Raffaele Sollecito. DNA on a knife implicated Amanda Knox, but at the appeal the evidence was declared unreliable. The defence teams insisted that the other man convicted of the murder, Rudy Guerra, had acted alone. But today Meredith Kercher's family condemned the way Amanda Knox's relatives have campaigned for her freedom.
Well, we've tried to sort of maintain as sort of lower profile as possible and as much of a dignified silence, but there comes a point where obviously it's difficult for our legal team who work very hard and do a lot of good work out here to be constantly battling against what's essentially a large PR machine.
But for now the campaigning is over. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were taken back to prison while the judges and jurors considered their fate. Daniel Sanford, BBC News, Perugia.
Well, we've just heard that it may be in an hour and a half that we get that verdict, but let's give you more on the case. It is nearly 4 years since Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were jailed, first as suspects, then as convicted killers. Meredith Kercher was killed at the apartment she shared with Knox in Perugia in November 2007. A year later, following a fast-track trial, Rudy Herman Guerra, an Ivory Coast national, received a 30-year prison sentence after being convicted of her murder. That sentence was later halved on appeal. In December 2009, Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were then also found guilty of murder and sexual violence. The following day, Ms. Knox's family vowed to appeal the conviction. Well, Maurizio Bellacosa is a criminal law professor at Luis University in Rome, and he joins me now. Thank you for joining us. And can you tell us, whatever happens tonight, do you feel that the case will be over or there are more hurdles to jump?
Yeah, in theory, we have three possible kind of decisions. On one side, we can have just a confirmation of the first instance trial conviction. A second possibility is obviously a decision of acquittal, but we have in theory also a third possibility that is a confirmation of the sentence with a changement in punishment, in the sense that the court could increase or reduce the punishments for the defendants. We can also say that likely tonight the match between the prosecutor and the counsels for defense will not finish tonight, because for sure who lose tonight will challenge the decision and will file an appeal before the Supreme Court for the third instance trial in Italy.
But right now, if Amanda Knox succeeds in her appeal, will she be allowed to leave the country?
Yes, if the decision is for an acquittal, she's totally free. So she can, for sure, come back to US or go everywhere.
She made a very emotional statement to the court saying that she was not the person that the media had painted her as. Do you think there was sympathy in Italy as people witnessed that statement?
That's important. In Italy, we have not so many times a trial with a popular jury, only for the most serious crime like the one that we are speaking about tonight. And when you have in front of you popular judges, the psychological issues are very important. The suggestions are very important for the kind of decision, very difficult decision that the judges are taking just in these hours.
Is there a sense that Italian justice itself is under scrutiny tonight?
Yes. There were some critics against the Italian judicial system, but I would like to say that just this kind of trial demonstrates that the Italian system works well because it is full of guarantees. We are speaking about a second instance trial in which the judges could do a new analysis, a new examination of all the elements collected by the parties during the first instance trial. So I think that the Italian system demonstrated to have all the elements for a good final decision, and if there were some mistakes made by someone, the system has the instruments to overcome eventual mistakes.
Professor Bellacosa, thank you for your time.